Welcome! Are you ready for the holidays? For all those events requiring you to look special every time? Thank you for joining Worcester Historical Museum as we explore the power of the pretty powerful little black dress. I'm Ann Sadik, Director of Development. This is the 6th program leading up to the museum's landmark exhibition, Pretty Powerful 100 Years of Voting and Style, opening May 3rd, 2021. Over the next 40 minutes, our hosts and organizing committee co-chairs, Marlene Persky and Moira Moynihan-Minogue, will introduce you to 5 pretty powerful individuals who will share secrets on how to glam up your little black dress for the holidays and beyond. The little black dress has evolved throughout the years, taking on many silhouettes and styles. It's not just a piece of clothing, it's a statement. During our time together, we'll learn about some fun moments in little black dress history and maybe make a little history ourselves. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the show.
My name is Marlene Persky, and it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you here today on behalf of Worcester Historical Museum's Little Black Dress event. My love of fashion started at a very young age, looking forward to receiving McCall's magazine and my Betsy McCall cutout doll and dressing her in all her finery. Then came the first feminist fashion designer, Katie Keene, comic book queen. I want to extend my many, many thanks to our pretty powerful, pretty smart, pretty amazing organizing committee. My co-chair, Moira Moynihan, our honorary chair, Tayan J, Dr. Marianne Felice, Susan M. Foley, Lisa McDonough, James Hogan, Susan Palatucci, Mary Jane Ryan, and Carol Sleeper. A special welcome to Massachusetts Treasurer Deborah B. Goldberg and Senator Harriet Chandler, and all of our sponsors. Maura and I would like to wish all of our guests a welcome champagne toast. We hope you enjoy this program. Sit back, relax, and have a good time. Cheers to you. Cheers to all of us.
Let's start with a historical overview of the little black dress. The video produced by Vogue features famous fashion designers like Coco Chanel, Givenchy, Balenciaga, Yves Saint Laurent, and others. It showcases the variety and creativity of this fashion staple and reminds us that it is not just the dress, but the individuals who wear it that make the LBD so iconic. The video also invites us to think about the little black dress in the context of broader historical and cultural events. Did women gaining the right to vote in the 1920s inspire Coco Chanel's little black dress? How did the youth culture of the 1950s and 60s breathe new life into the variety of LBDs? And how has the LGBTQ visibility and the civil rights movements of our times been reflected in the little black dress, and who and how they might wear them?
Hello, I'm Hamish Bowles, International Editor-at-Large of American Vogue, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about the little black dress. Whoever said orange is the new black obviously never owned one of these. A versatile fashion staple marked by its above-ankle length, the little black dress, or the LBD, is nearly synonymous with the cocktail dress. Everyone who's anyone, from Princess Diana in Christina Stambolian to Billy Porter in Christian Siriano, knows the power the black dress holds. But it was Coco Chanel who first gave the LBD its high fashion debut. In 1926, a sketch of Chanel's calf-length black crêpe de chine dress made its way to the pages of American Vogue. Referred to as Chanel's Ford after the ubiquitous Model T of the same era, The dress was described as the frock that all the world will wear. Undoubtedly, Chanel's dress was revolutionary. The drop waist and straight-line silhouette offered women a new sense of mobility and liberation, on par with the more visible, vocal, and newly enfranchised modern woman. Some people speculated that Coco's use of black was a defiant response to the uniform she was forced to wear in her childhood at an orphanage. But regardless, for revenge or otherwise, black quickly transformed from a colour associated with widows and religious figures to one donned by movie stars and socialites alike. Let's fast forward to the prosperous 50s. After the 1947 new look put an international spotlight on French designer Christian Dior, he shortened his dress length from the ankles to just below the knees. His iconic and alphabetic silhouettes, the A, H, and Y, to name but a few, gave the LBD a shapely, feminine twist. Rounded shoulders, nipped-in waists, and full skirts were Dior's signature style. Dior was the first to label these evening frocks cocktail dresses, and magazines, department stores, designers, and customers were quick to rise to the occasion. In the late 50s and early 60s, youth culture was thriving, and Audrey Hepburn was America's brightest star. Hubert de Givenchy found a muse in Hepburn, but he could have never predicted that his LBDs would become nearly synonymous with the woman wearing them. Hepburn's beloved characters, often exemplifying daring, cosmopolitan women, made the little black dress sought after by younger generations for the first time. Even Barbie, known for her youthful wardrobe of girly pink outfits, was caught wearing her first black dress in 1964. In Paris, however, a different shape was taking form. Spanish designer and master couturier Cristobal Balenciaga was experimenting with tubular silhouettes, a callback to Chanel's 1920s designs. His use of stiff silk gazar, a moldable, lightweight textile, revolutionized what shape a cocktail dress could be. Take his 1967 four-point dress, for instance, decorated with a rhinestone brooch and imitation pearls. Since the late 1930s, Balenciaga found inspiration from the sobering black he saw in traditional Spanish folk dresses, menswear, Catholic orders, and historic Spanish art. During the latter 1960s, freedom, feminism, and free love reigned supreme. This era was all about risks, and French designer Yves Saint Laurent wasn't afraid to take them. Already having earned the title of world's youngest couturier after taking over Dior at just 21 years old, Yves Saint Laurent was a champion of street culture, rebellion, and sex appeal. His ostrich dress, made of sheer black chiffon with plumage at the hips, turned heads on the runway for freeing the nipple way before it was a trending hashtag. Saint Laurent famously put Catherine Deneuve in a schoolgirl-inspired LBD for her role in Belle du Jour, and soon actresses were spotted wearing minis of their own, both on and off the screen. By the late 70s and early 80s, the LBD took a backseat to the more extravagant and colourful designs that defined that era. The period wasn't a total bust for the LBD, however. The queen of rock and roll herself, Tina Turner, regularly wore the dresses of Tunisian couturier Azzedine Alaïa, whose stretch fabrics made his pieces the obvious choice for performers looking for alternatives to the classic leotard. Designer Patrick Kelly, too, self-referred to as the black male Lucille Ball, gave the chic fashion staple a flashy twist. His use of bows, hearts, and buttons added an 80s flair to his designs. After all, more is more in the era of the material girl. But like Madonna, the little black dress was sure to make a comeback. In 1985, for her debut collection, Donna Karan introduced the concept of 7 easy pieces that helped you assemble your very own little black dress. Karl Lagerfeld, newly crowned creative director of Chanel, understood the power of nostalgia. But instead of using the black crêpe de chine material in the original design, he opted for a modern combination of black vinyl and polyester jersey. Helmut Lang's collection similarly featured raw, stripped-down pieces. His dress, featured in this 1989 issue of Vogue, was described as fitting like a second skin. And of course, all eyes were on the it girls of the 90s. Whether they were your favourite TV characters, the world's biggest supermodels, or a member of the British royal family, black dresses became the obvious way to wear the minimalist fashion revolution. That brings us to the 21st century. With 80 plus years behind them, designers were looking for even more ways to reinvent the little black wheel. One thing has always been certain, though. Sex sells, and these designers knew it. By this time, Versace and Dolce & Gabbana were already Italy's go-to designers for overt sex appeal. Dolce & Gabbana's Sicilian widow-inspired LBDs were given a twist of Italian femininity with the use of lingerie, black lace and roses. And who can forget the Prada dress worn by Bonne girl Camille in 2008's Quantum of Solace? The mid to late 2000s were all about cutouts. Anthony Vaccarello for Saint Laurent, Christopher Kane, Olivia Rousting for Balmain, and Donatella Versace all showed inventive black evening wear with slits, gaps, and unexpected necklines. Carly Cushnie, too, released a handful of black dresses in her 2020 ready-to-wear collections. But perhaps her most modern piece is this, a designer in an LBD holding her own child, the outfit of choice for the fearless, successful woman. But it may be that the most interesting take on the little black dress came not from a designer, but instead from who was wearing it. The latter years of the 2010s has had men strutting their way down the red carpet in black dresses of their own. For one and all, a quick change of jewellery or shoes can transform any black dress from a daytime to evening look, making it the perfect choice for, well, anyone. Perhaps the little black dress really is fashion's great equalizer.
Coco Chanel gave the little black dress its high fashion debut, but there were many precursors to the 1926 issue of Vogue, where her designs first appeared. Factoid: Queen Victoria wore a black dress for 40 years after the death of King Albert.
We are so fortunate to have 5 fashionistas, all with Worcester connections, here with us tonight. The first is Pia Samant. Hi, Pia. Tell us about yourself and how you have embellished the little black dress.
I am a self-taught artist and curator. I was born and raised in India, and now I live and work out of my home studio in Auburn, Massachusetts. So I enjoy painting portraits, and for the past 4 years, I've been painting a lot of flora and fauna. My work can be found in galleries and museums in and around Worcester County, and here I'll be embellishing a little black dress for the holidays. I wanted to use a lot of color to embellish this little black dress, and I also wanted to use my floral inspirations, so I decided to paint a collar necklace and also a sash or a belt, both in the floral theme with spring and summer colors. There was a historical angle or historical influence to this. I was, a few days before I started this project, I was painting an RBG portrait, and as I was painting her collar necklace, I decided to bring a little bit of that in, but with a floral inspiration. I started off with the roll of canvas and just spray painted it gold, and the inspiration again was kind of to tie it to RBG's collar necklace, because there was some gold in our latest collar. Spray painting it gold gave it a leather look effect, and this is something that anybody could try at home. And once that dried, I used palette knives. You could use brushes, and I used acrylic paint pre-mixed, and I mixed some colors to create a shaded effect in the roses, and then I kind of went in and added the big flowers and filled it in with the little flowers. This is all done in acrylic with palette knives and a little bit of brushwork. The way I created the tie back was I used a satin ribbon and attached it to the back of the necklace as well as the back of the sash. And that was it. For the holidays, I'm thinking of trying a little black dress this year. I love color, so I will definitely be adding a colorful scarf and maybe add a few pieces of jewelry with some stones and some color. I'm not sure yet, but maybe I'll paint myself one of these sashes. So the goal is some color and some bling. Thank you. I had so much fun joining you. Back to Marley and Moira.
Wow, Pia, I love that you used Ruth Bader Ginsburg as your inspiration and that the little black dress can be a political statement. Did you know that at the age of 15, RBG's mother marched in suffragist parades throughout the city of New York? Just this February, Justice Ginsburg said that the 19th Amendment was the first step of equal citizenship for women, and that the suffragists had to sell votes to an all-male audience in Congress, and that was no easy task. Recently, Lizzo rocked a vote dress at the 2020 Billboard Music Awards. Her look was fresh and relevant while harkening back to the Votes for Women sashes worn by women during the fight for the 19th Amendment.
Let's hear from the man who has dressed fashion icons from around the world in Worcester, our very own Mr. James Hogan. James, what fabulous fashion secrets are you going to share with us today?
So we're talking about the little black dress, which is dear to my heart. I always used to say to somebody coming to me for the first time, if you buy one thing, buy a little black dress because it's so transformative and you can dress it up with shoes, jewelry, a jacket, a belt, whatever. And in this case, I think feathers, very Holly Golightly, sort of Audrey Hepburn, who wore Hubert Givenchy in the early 60s version, I think 1963, of Breakfast at Tiffany's, sort of idealized the little black dress with a feather trim on the bottom. And this is so easy to apply. This particular one I just pinned on, but voila, you take it off and you have a simple little day dress. And then with the addition of pearls, you can take it in a whole other direction. And multi-strands, the more the better. You know, just another look with little black dress. Again, it's almost, think of it as the foundation and everything is built on it. You know, just do a wonderful little belt. Again, a total different look. I'm just going to show you another little jacket that again transforms your little black dress. So just think of it as the staple of your wardrobe, something to build upon. And it's good to have a simple, clean little black dress. The cleaner, the better. And then just work from it. Now, I also have a dress here. The original was done for Mrs. Kennedy by Oleg Cassini. A lot of the original dresses that he did, however, were copies of Givenchy dresses because Mrs. Kennedy had been shopping at Givenchy before President Kennedy was elected. So therefore she had a pretty amazing collection of clothing, and a lot of the best things were just copied. As you see, there's a lot of things in her wardrobe that you see a lot of repetition because good things are clean and classic. So now I'm just going to show you another simple way to embellish your little black dress with either things you find in fun thrift stores, antique stores, or things that may have come out of your grandmother's closet, your mother's closet, jewelry box rather, and things that you can just play with and have a good time with. These particular pins were collected by one of my dearest friends, and they all have a special meaning. One was given to her by her husband right here, and several were family heirlooms, and the one was given by her Girl Scout troop. But I love just putting them all, and it creates a very fun collar. And this particular beautiful gold rose will be on the back of the neck, which will just add interest as she's turning, in the room. So again, this anyone can do, and they can be things that you can find in antique stores, thrift stores, or just rummaging through your mother or grandmother's jewelry boxes. So I want to thank Marlene Persky and Maura Manouk for doing such an amazing job of co-chairing this event and making it come to pass, and also Tayan J for being the honorary chair, because we all know Tayan has more style than anyone else we know. Marianne Felice, Susan Foley, Lisa McDonough, Susan Palatucci, Mary Jane Ryan, Carol Sleeper, and of course Ann Sadik and Bill Wallace, who thank you all. Back to Maura and Marlene. I hope you all enjoyed the Little Black Dress event, and thank you for being part of it, and we look forward to seeing you at the opening of our Pretty Powerful exhibit.
Thank you, James, for your fashion advice, and I'm going to try to follow it throughout the program. No one exemplified this more than Audrey Hepburn in her iconic Little Black Dress in the 1960s film Breakfast at Tiffany's. If one dress and one woman can be credited with popularizing the Little Black Dress, this could be it.
Joining us now is Sally Jablonski. Sally, what tips do you have to embellish the LBD for the holidays this season?
Okay, thank you, Marlene and Moira, for having me for the program for the Little Black Dress. Sally from Herbert Berg Florists, welcome to my shop. And I'm going to be sharing some ideas for the holidays. Hopefully we're all going to be able to get dressed up this holiday. It's a little bit different than it has been. But one of my favorite corsages to wear, and I will wear these myself, is a over-the-shoulder corsage. This is made out of dendrobium orchids that have been wired. And then to add just a little bit of party glitz, I've added some diamonds in here to just spiff it up a little bit. And what I like about an over-the-shoulder corsage is that it's very lightweight, and that when you're dancing or hugging or at weddings or stuff, it's not going to get crushed. And I like to use the dendrobium orchid because it holds up well. If you go to Hawaii, this is what you get when you get off the plane. You'll get a lei of dendrobium orchids around your neck. So this is, an off-the-shoulder corsage. You get a little bit into the back, so it gives you a little bit of drama as you're walking. And this is my favorite corsage to wear. I will show some techniques in a little bit as far as if you want to try and make it. This is how the dendrobium orchid grows, and what we do is we take little pieces off and wire them. But in addition, and if you wanted to get into the holiday spirit, you can also, we don't have a head here, but you can do a flower comb, which is very easy. I suggest these a lot for special occasions. And then also a wrist corsage. There's many different bracelets now. We don't have to just use that plastic one that you see very often for proms. With these, you can just use, these are called cymbidium orchids, and I like the green, and a little bit of the red gives you a little bit of that holiday spirit. And again, it's nice to wear, it's lightweight, and again, it's not going to wilt. I like using the cymbidium orchids better than roses as far as that goes. I've been here at Herbert Berg Florists for over 35 years. It's been my shop. I bought it from Mr. Berg about 25 years ago. And he taught me a lot of the old techniques as far as things go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take, I'm not going to make a whole corsage, but I'm just going to take a few of the dendrobium orchids off. And when each flower gets wired a different way, and so when we wire these through the side, and then we just pull it down. On that. And then what we do, I have my glasses on, is we take a little bit of tape and we pull and we wire the orchid. So as you can see, it molds to your shoulder because it's been wired. So I do this just real fast. And I think we need one more to just show you how this goes. I do like wearing flowers for special events and not just for weddings, so I think it's kind of neat to wear flowers. And I've been a florist for over 40 years, and I enjoy it. Things have changed, not only with COVID, but many different things have changed in the past 40 years. And one of the things I see is we're going back to a lot of the different old ways. So that's the beginning of the corsage here. Here's your beginning, and then what we do is we wire 3 more the other way so that you put it on just like that. Again, it's very, very, very lightweight. It's very easy to wear. Lots of times people don't want to wear a corsage because it says it pulls the dress down. This way it just lays flat, and it's very nice. Well, hopefully, you know, with the holiday season, we are going to be able to get together and see our families. So the holiday season, I do like to sew. So I do have some black fabric of my own. So I'm actually going to be designing and making my own black dress for the holiday season, in addition to making my flowers and my corsages and things like that. I think as far as creativity, it's important to do a lot of different things. I do a lot of crafting. Some people ask me, where do I get my ideas? Magazines are a great place to get a lot of ideas. Window shopping. And one of my favorite things I like to do is I like to read. So I think a lot of those things, as you put them all together, helps the creativity. Art museum is a great place to go to. The Historical Museum. I love history. So I think, you know, as far as creativity, you know, it's important to look to all the different avenues, and actually continuing education too. I try and take as many continuing ed classes as I can. Enjoy the rest of the Little Black Dress program. Thank you so much for having me. Now back to you, Marlene and Moira. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sally. I just love the shoulder corsage. The LBD is truly a blank canvas for creativity and artistic expression. In 2007, Alexander McQueen created a collection that included live, fresh flowers as decoration. McQueen deliberately chose a medium that would decay to reflect his darkly romantic mood.
Here is Jessie Randall. Welcome home, Jessie. Thanks for joining us. Tell us about your little black dress.
Hi, I'm Jessie from Leffler Randall. I grew up in Worcester. I went to Flag Street, Forest Grove, and Doherty. So I went to the Worcester Public Schools my whole life. And I have a shoe company with my husband Brian in New York City, and we've had the company for about 16 years now. And Bill is a very good family friend, and he asked me to join this discussion about the little black dress. So I guess I don't really wear little black dresses anymore. I'm kind of feeling more for wearing brighter colors and just happier things. But when I think about a little black dress, I think about something that's quite versatile and something that could be dressed up or dressed down. The dress that I chose to wear for this today is by a black designer. The line is called Fammon, Fammon, and I love her designs. Everything has custom, beautiful embroidery on it. And so I chose this dress because for me, this kind of functions like a little black dress in that I can wear it with all different accessories and I can wear it for a lot of different occasions, just like a little black dress. So I thought I would show 3 different looks with this dress. And the first one is a really casual way of wearing the dress with these little ballet flats that we do at my company that I love very much. And so they're very flat and they're just really casual. This dress has pockets, and so I might wear this out to a dinner with friends. And then the second look I have is with some of our tall boots and a sweater, and that's something that I would maybe wear to my office in Soho when I'm going to work, kind of dressing it down. And then the final look is with our signature bow heels, the Camellia. And this is a way of really dressing it up. So this is what I would wear to a party or a wedding or something like that. Thanks so much for having me on this program. I love you, Bill.
As a child, Mexican designer Benito Santos' love of fashion was nurtured by watching his grandmother embroider and embellish garments. These influences are evidenced in his 2020 dress, which pairs a little black dress bodice with a gorgeous yellow skirt.
Now I'm excited to welcome Carolyn Stempler. Carolyn, you are known as one of Worcester's most fashionable women. How are you styling your little black dress this holiday season?
Thank you, Mara and Marlene. And thank you for inviting me to participate in the Worcester Historical Museum's Little Black Dress event. For my portion of the celebration of the Little Black Dress, I'd like to share with you my inspiration and then a little bit about my style. So first, a little bit about me. Most people don't know that before I moved to Worcester, I had a 25-year career in technology and was a former chief information officer. I've also owned Ben & Jerry's franchises, and now I am on my third career as a floral and event designer. I am also the current board chair of the Greater Worcester Community Foundation, and I also serve on the Nativity School Board and a Hanover Theater Board. So to explain a little bit about my inspiration, I was born in St. Louis, Missouri in the early 60s. I grew up as the only girl with 3 older brothers. My mother, having only one daughter, really loved to dress me up and could not wait for an occasion to buy me a new outfit and also take plenty of Polaroids. So it is no surprise that my mother was one of my biggest inspirations and really provided me with the freedom to have fun with fashion. And yes, that is my mother, the only one wearing the LBD in this picture with her ladies club during the annual party in the 1960s. In addition to my mother, my style was also inspired by many other fabulous Black women, such as Josephine Baker, Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, Diana Ross, Naomi Sims, the first Black supermodel, and especially the legendary Diane Carroll, the first Black woman to star in her own TV show and the first Black woman to win a Tony Award. Who could forget her iconic role in the TV show Dynasty as Dominique Devereaux? While growing up in the 70s, we also had the historic Ebony magazine and the groundbreaking Ebony Fashion Fair. This magazine was our window into a world we would never have been able to see otherwise. A magazine with people who look like me on the cover. But the Ebony magazine's Fashion Fair issue was the one we could not wait for as little girls. Let me give you a little history about the Ebony Fashion Fair. The Ebony Fashion Fair was this annual traveling fashion event, moving from city to city across the country, showcasing Black models in high fashion. We would open up those pages and we'd see women who look like us in haute couture fashion, from designers like Yves Saint Laurent, Oscar de la Renta, Valentino, and Givenchy. Honestly, back then I had no idea who those designers were, but I sure do know now. That's a little bit about my inspiration. Now I'd like to take a few moments to talk about my style. Well, I sort of make up my own rules. When I was asked to participate in this event, I looked through my closet and to my surprise, I found over 20 LBDs. They range from sleeveless to leather to sequin ones, even ones with ostrich feathers. And how do I accessorize them? I like to add a little flair. As I said before, I make up my own rules. You may see me wearing an LBD with a leather motorcycle jacket, or a leather LBD with an edgy jean jacket, or even one with a sequin jacket. With my short hair, I also like to wear really statement-making earrings. And if it's an outdoor event, a pair of Italian sunglasses can really make the outfit. Well, Mara and Marlene, that's a little bit about my LBDs and my style. Now I'd like to leave you with a final word from my mother. If you find something that looks good on you, why would you wear anything else? Back to you.
Showcasing the designers Carolyn mentioned in her video Eunice Johnson, the co-founder of Ebony and founder of Fashion Fair, also promoted young Black designers such as Stephen Burrows, inventive Black dresses, and his signature lettuce edge as shown in his sketch. In case you missed the pre-programmed slideshow in the Zoom room, here is your opportunity to enjoy these slides followed by our live conversation.
And now, for the interactive part of the program, let's see how some of our audience members have glammed up their little black dress or equivalent. What little black dress personality style are you? And how have you or will you embellish your little black dress? Before we start, please remember to write in or self-identify in the chat box. If you want to join in the conversation, we will do our best to reach you all. When our tech host, Shauna, asks you to unmute, please accept so that you can participate. So, Adrian Horwich, we have you in the queue. What would you like to share with us?
Well, first of all, thank you for giving me a chance to wear a black dress today. It's the first time in 9 months, I think. But I grew up in New York and I went to FIT and I got to study at the Met in their Costume Institute. And when I moved to California, I learned about LACMA, which is the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. And I joined their Costume and Textile Council, and we had just the best time. We had over 1,000 members. We had 7 events a year. They were teas with a speaker, a designer or a jeweler, or someone, a publisher, somebody in fashion. And we would serve tea afterwards on decorated tables that suited the mood. We also traveled. We went to, I actually led the trips to New York, London, Milan, and Japan. I guess, I don't know if I mentioned that the people that were there that went on the trips, they were good shoppers, and we were invited in to many different places for great showings, private showings, and all around. I loved the Costume Council.
Adrienne, thank you so much for joining us. In case you don't know, Adrienne Horwich is my friend and fashion partner in crime for the last 48 years. And we thank you for your views on the Fashion Council. And a little factoid, Worcester Historical Museum has been collecting local costumes and textiles for 117 years. And we are excited about our new Fashion Council. So everybody, please join. Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you.
All the way from Beverly Hills. That is just so thrilled to have you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Next in our queue, we have Lynn Tona, who has joined us. Welcome,
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi. I love black velvet. We haven't really talked about that this evening, but I love black velvet with pearls, sometimes with an illusion neckline. I think that is so elegant. So whenever I'm shopping for a cocktail dress or something, I always find myself drawn to that. In the 80s, I had the unfortunate embellishment phase with a lot of sequins and designs that you never even see in the stores anymore. But I think we all had those dynasty type dresses back then. Now I agree with James Hogan, the simpler the better, but a nice, beautiful black dress made of high quality velvet, not the cheap stuff. You know, the plush stuff is fabulous. And then of course you have to do your shoes, your purse, your earrings, like Carolyn said. It's so much fun. And I look forward to dressing up again too. Thanks.
Lynn, thank you so much for sharing your tips with us. I can't wait to see you somewhere all dressed up soon.
Lynn, thank you again so much. So, gosh, next up is Joan Gage. Joan would like to share some stories about a little black and white dress that she wore to a state dinner at the Reagan White House in March 18th, 1986. Welcome, Joan.
Thank you. Yes, the invitation came from the Reagans to a state dinner at the White House honoring Prime Minister of Canada, Brian Mulroney, and his wife. And of course, I panicked. I had to rush out, lose weight, buy a dress, and I'm not very good at spending money on clothes. But I got my husband to help me, Nick Gage, and we ended up at a store in Framingham, Sumiko. I don't know if she's still there, but she designed the dress. And Nick picked it out immediately, and I said, but that costs more than my wedding dress, which only cost $500. And we bought it, and the dress turned out to be very successful at the White House. There it is. You can see it's plain black all the way down, and it's got this fan-shaped bodice to it. And of course, I was scared walking into the White House with Nick on the day of the event. And first you walk through a bunch of reporters and photographers, and one of them said something like, "I like your dress." That made me feel better. Then you go to the reception room where you are announced to the president and the important people. And the person who says our name, an aide, sort of whispered to me, "Nice dress." And by then I thought, oh, this is really going well thanks to the dress. And then we were assigned our tables, and I discovered the best thing of all was that I ended up at the president's table, which was a thrill and a great honor, because there are only 8 people at each table. And it was a fascinating evening. All kinds of, I was always afraid I'd spill my wine or something, but Reagan told some ghost stories about the White House. I ended up writing an article up back in the day for Ladies' Home Journal, but I have just, I also wrote, when Nancy Reagan died, I wrote a memory of this evening, what happened at the White House. And if anybody, I have just reposted it on my blog site. If anybody wants to get all the details about well, that's backwards. It's, you go to a rolling crone, that's me, a rolling crone, all one word, .com. And you can find all about even the ghost stories and the $200,000 Reagan China strips.
Joan, you are amazing in your very humble way. Nobody can weave a story better than you. I want to thank you, and I can't wait to read some more of your articles and your next book. Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
And I see that Pat Stavridis. She has joined us, but we need to help her unmute. So she can share her stories with us.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're unmuted. Yay, Pat.
Yes, but I don't see me. Let me say where I am here. Okay, see, so I don't know how to get on the screen.
Let's see. Do you see a little video in the lower left corner? And there may be a flash through it. If you just click on that, we should be able to see you as well. And if we can't do that, I will take your photos that I know are coming and share those with our guests in an e-news follow-up, but we'd love to have the conversation with you. I know
that in the left-hand corner, it says enable camera access for Zoom. I pressed everything in here. It just says Pat Stav. Let's see, is it coming on?
Well, I guess the fortunate...
Okay, here, start my video.
Maybe.
The fortunate part is if we can't see your lovely face, we can still have the conversation.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about that, but Pat, you had said that you wanted to...
Pat, never mind. I know everybody. Pat is absolutely the most stunning woman, and you will be very lucky to at some point see who she is. Anyway, Pat, we're both involved with contemporary art and both have fashion backgrounds, have backgrounds in fashion design. What do you see as the relationship between the two?
Well, I know that we both studied fashion, illustration, and design. Mm-hmm. And I think that fashion and design are mostly about shape and form, as are paintings and sculpture. And even photographers have to take into consideration shape and form when they're looking through the camera. What is it that they want to capture? So I think the influence of fashion in photography has been enormous. If you think of Avedon, Irving Penn, Mario Testino. But fashion design, I think, as in photography years ago, was never considered a high art form. And, it's more of an applied arts form. So I think designers today are very much aware of what is going on in the art world. One only has to look at certain designers who look at what, punk art or what people are wearing on the streets, and then, or vice versa, the artist is influenced by the fashion designer. think about the Louis Vuitton bags. Louis Vuitton, he printed, or the company printed old masters paintings on the bags. So there you have, they're creating, old masters paintings, putting them on the handbags is really creating a new way of looking at that art, but we're creating a contemporary handbag. So I think it goes back and forth, and the artists look at fashion and they create something because something has influenced them.
You know what I like about that, Pat?
Who's that? Cheryl?
What I like about that, Pat.
Oh, that's you. That's you.
That's me. That's
okay,
me.
because you're just.
What I like about it is that you're able to relate to a living artist, whether it be a fashion designer or a contemporary artist. You're able to get into their heads and know what they're thinking and their process. And that to me means a lot. I want to thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to seeing you and talking more fashion and art. Thank you, Pat.
You're very welcome.
Well, I don't see any more questions in the queue. However, what I would like to toss out to our guests is, how many little black dresses do you have in your closet? Carolyn, we heard from her. And if I'm correct, I think she said between 20 and 40. I did a quick inventory of my closet and I have 5. I'm just curious, how many dresses do many of us have in our closets? And before we wrap things up, let's see, so pardon me. I will leave you with a little black dress factoid. And the little black dress has roots that date back to the 16th century. Anne Boleyn, the Queen of England from 1533 to 1536, the second wife of King Henry VIII, famously wore an all-black velvet frock. Lynn, there's another velvet. And back then, that meant a lot of dark, expensive dye was needed to get such a saturated color. So, thank you all for joining us and for participating in the Little Black Dress event. I'm going to turn it on back to Moira and Marlene.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you all for joining us. The exhibition, Pretty Powerful, is your destination for fashion this spring. If you enjoyed this program, we offer you the opportunity to help us shape the exhibit and future programs. Fashion is so much more than a cute outfit or the hashtag OOTD. It's a major reflection of the times and a big part of our history. Join Worcester Historical Museum's Costume and Textile Council and get closer to women's fashion. Fashion and style, simple words that embody so much. The past 100 years have been quite a fashion trip, one that reflects not just cultural shifts, but societal movements too.
James, this is an homage to you and changing my little black dress at every given moment. Anyway, join us as we celebrate programs and events leading up to our landmark exhibit, Pretty Powerful, 100 Years of Voting and Style. Be sure to send in your photos of you in your little black dresses to Ann Sadek, who will include them in the museum's social media and e-newsletter. Wishing you all a safe and happy holiday season. Good night, Kathy Lee.
Good night,
Thank you once again for joining us for the Pretty Powerful Little Black Dress event. Worcester Historical Museum hosts programs and events throughout the year on a wide range of topics that embrace fashion, culture, politics, dress expression, and more. Join our e-newsletter list and follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get more information on our next programs. We are grateful to our hosts and the Pretty Powerful co-chairs, Marlene Persky and Moira Moynihan Manoog. And to our 5 special presenters, fashionistas, James Hogan, Sally Jablonski, Jessie Randall, Pia Simont, and Carolyn Stempler, with special recognition to Dr. Charlotte A. Haller, Arts Worcester, Herbert E. Berg Florist, State Treasurer Deborah B. Goldberg, and Valentina Carabinas. Pretty Powerful has a strong organizing committee, and we are grateful to our co-chairs Marlene Persky and Moira Moynihan-Minogue, as well as Honorary Chair Tayan J., Advisor James Hogan, Marianne Felice, Susan Foley, Lisa McDonough, Susan Palatucci, Mary Jane Ryan, Carol Sleeper, and Bill Wallace, Worcester Historical Museum Executive Director. A sincere thanks also to Worcester Historical Museum's Costume and Textile Council. We are grateful to our sponsors and changemakers. Programs such as The Little Black Dress are presented with support by generous donors such as you. To learn more about Pretty Powerful, the exhibition and programs, please contact me, Ann Sadik, at annsadik@worcesterhistory.net. It is now my pleasure to introduce Bill Wallace, Executive Director of Worcester Historical Museum.
Thank you once again for joining us for tonight's Little Black Dress. Since 1875, Worcester Historical Museum has been the proud keeper of the stories that make Worcester the exciting city it is today. We invite you to join us in this adventure by following Worcester Historical Museum on Facebook, Instagram, and our new YouTube channel, or by visiting us on the web at www.worcesterhistory.org. Your support and enthusiasm ensure future programs and exhibits like Pretty Powerful and all the stories that make us Worcester. We're grateful to our major sponsors of Pretty Powerful and the upcoming exhibition: the National Endowment for the Humanities, Exploring the Human Endeavor; the Worcester Together Fund, a joint effort between the Greater Worcester Community Foundation and the United Way of Central Massachusetts in partnership with the City of Worcester; and of course, the Massachusetts Cultural Council. At this moment in our lives, the Mass Cultural Council is very important to each of us. The Council promotes and encourages excellence, access, education, diversity in the arts and humanities and interpretive sciences, and of course, a variety of conversations and programs like tonight's Little Black Dress. Mass Cultural Council's commitment to improving the quality of life in the Commonwealth is vital in these unprecedented times. So our thanks to the Mass Cultural Council, its council members and staff, as well as to the legislature for its support of the council, so critical to our Commonwealth. And a shout out to one of our local Pretty Powerful women, Senator Harriet Chandler, President Emerita of the Massachusetts State Senate. Tonight's Little Black Dress was produced by Peter Zipfel with design assistance from Iris Chase and our tech team, Shauna Gondelman and David Connor. Join us again soon. In the meanwhile, visit our website and of course follow and like Worcester Historical Museum on Facebook and Instagram. On behalf of everyone at Worcester Historical Museum, our thanks once again to tonight's co-hosts, Marlene and Moira, and to all of our wonderfully creative presenters. Please be safe as together we look forward to a pretty powerful 2021 and a vibrant and engaging future for Worcester's exciting past. Thank you for joining us.